All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We are going to take just a few minutes here and let people start to join. I know I'm not always able to get on right at the start of a webinar. See a couple friendly faces coming in. Hey, Ben. See Lorraine out there, Clear Lake Condos team. Good to see you guys. Hey, Tristan. All right. As people here start to join, I'll just keep reiterating a couple times. We're going to give it just a few minutes for everybody to get joined. We'll start around 1:05. So if you have any last minute things you want to take care of before we jump in, you're welcome to do that. We really appreciate you joining. All righty. Let's see how we're looking here. Looks like the attendance has kind of started to stabilize a little bit. We'll get started here in just another minute or so. All right. We will go ahead and get rolling. All right. So again, everybody, thanks so much for joining us here today. If you don't know me, my name is Brett Benson-Greer. I'm the Director of Client Success at RealTech. I'm really excited that you've taken some time out of your day to join. Our goal with these sessions is to get our clients together so they can learn from each other. In the past, we've always had a lot of success creating introductions between different clients in different areas so they can share ideas. And we kind of wanted a way to create that connectivity at scale. We're planning to do more of these in the future. I think this is our third one now, and we're going to keep on doing them. So if you joined this one today or have joined others in the past, I do hope that you'll email us if you have any feedback about ways we can make it better. This program is for our clients, and so don't hesitate to let us know how we can make it better for you. Today we've got Kim Cook from Fickling and Company Vacation Rentals, based out of St. George Island, Florida. Amber's going to put their website in the chat if you want to take a look at that. Currently, they both do the website. They also have SEO services, paid search, email, and booking recovery with us. So she may talk a little bit about that. But without further ado, we're going to get it and let the person you're here to hear from start talking. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Britt. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining today. It's a pleasure to be here to speak with you and hopefully share some insightful information.
Yeah, absolutely. We so appreciate you being on with us, Kim. I know you've got a busy schedule.
That's okay. I'm glad we were able to make it work. I know we tried in the beginning of the year, and now it's kind of calmed down. As Britt said, I'm property manager here at Fickling Vacation Rentals, and our main season is from spring break through summer. So now that kids are back in school, we've kind of slowed down and things have normalized a little bit. So we have some time. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of kick us off with just a little bit of background and on Fickling and Company Vacation Rentals, and then a little bit about your role in the business as well.
Okay, sure. So I started with Fickling and Company in Macon, Georgia back in 2006. I worked with our multifamily division. So Fickling and Company is based out of Macon, Georgia, and we're a full service real estate company doing residential, commercial, multifamily. And then down here in Florida, we do vacation rentals. So we're our only vacation rental office here, and we've been open since 2008. I actually joined in 2014. I was given the opportunity to move here, and we were in the process of changing property management systems and redoing our website. So two very large tasks of one which I didn't know anything about. So it was quite fun my first few months here on site training, but I had the property management background for long-term rentals. I just really wasn't sure what short-term rentals was all about because I was used to the shortest lease term being 6 months versus, 3 nights. So it was exciting to say the least.
Yeah, probably a fun change, but it came with
Mhm.
a lot of learning. Is there anything that if you could go back to day one, you would tell yourself?
Yes, I would tell myself more than probably just one thing, but the main thing would just be that everything can be fixed. So, try not to worry, try not to stress, try not to react too much to everything immediately because probably over 75% of the concerns or problems that come up in a day resolve themselves within 5 minutes. And I've done nothing except wait. And so, that would probably be my biggest advice is just take a minute because half the time people figure out whatever it is that is wrong that's creating this urgency and it can be fixed. So it's going to be okay because I've spent many years, probably the first 5 years, just stressing, trying to respond to every email, every call, every text immediately, just trying to get ahead. And then you realize that really doesn't help and it's still there. And you have to remember to take care of you because you have to be there for everybody. So you're not just, I'm our property manager, but I'm not just that to everybody. I'm a counselor, a mother, a teacher. So it's a mentor. I mean, you just have to make sure you take care of yourself. And looking back, um, I'm glad that I took that time and did that and realized it early on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice in general for anybody in the workplace. It's just to
Hmm.
take the time to breathe and be there for yourself a
Right,
little bit so you can be there for
right,
those who are depending on you.
right, exactly.
Absolutely. So outside of the many things you listed, mother, counselor, what does your day-to-day look like right now in terms of the work that you're doing specifically?
Well, I'm our property manager here, so I oversee all the aspects of short-term rental properties, just making sure we have smooth operations from the beginning, the time the guests check in, guest satisfaction, just making sure everything flows right, maintenance, operations, so that we have a great reputation with our owners to make sure that we act on behalf of them and that everything is a good experience for the guests.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple fun questions here that I always get a kick out of are first, what are three responsibilities you feel like take the very most of your time? But also, what's that one thing you feel like you never get to or wish you had more time to work on?
That's a great question. So the three items that probably take up the most of my time is going to be communicating. Guest communication first, just because you can't just get it done. I mean, we get to work at different hours than our guests may want to talk to us, and they may
Mhm.
not be a guest that's currently staying. So the first thing I want to do is figure out, okay, if they're a guest that's currently staying that just called, of course, it's fine to call them early, but otherwise you kind of need to prioritize your day to wait until maybe after 9 or after 10 to discuss
Mhm.
with them what's going on. And that can, you're just juggling different things throughout your day, making sure you get what you need to get done, but still fitting in these communications. And so guest communication could take all day just because there's follow-up that's needed. You're coordinating with the owners sometimes.
Mhm.
If you need to reach out to them, they may be at work, they may need to talk to their spouse. But so, and that kind of goes along with our vendor correspondence and work orders and maintenance. We oversee those too. So I spend a lot of time just meeting with our maintenance team and following up on those requests. If they can't get something done or something fixed, or it could be something as simple as a ceiling fan is out, but they don't make the same model and every room in this house has the same model. I get to go to the owner and just say, look, this is what we found that's similar, but are you okay with us putting this in your home? And that's kind of one thing that Fickling does. We manage under 100 homes, and we're very hands-on and in communication with our owners. We have some absentee owners, but for the most part, I mean, we talk to them weekly, daily, whether it's by
Hmm.
text,
Yeah.
email, phone. And it's their home. A lot of our owners own multiple homes here. Some live locally, some visit often. And that's the main thing, that I never want them to arrive at their house and they're like, why did you replace this? So owner communication with the maintenance, that takes up, majority of the time too, along with the guests.
That certainly
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of time spent there, which makes sense.
Yes.
The communication aspect is so important.
Right.
Um, so with that in mind, let's maybe move over a little bit to more of the numbers behind the business. And what is your booking ratio right now for Fickling from direct to third party?
So we are very fortunate. We only have 10% of our property on Verbo. So we don't use any other platforms except for our website. And we're fortunate enough to be in a smaller market to where if you're looking to stay on St. George Island in Florida, only so many options are going to come up. And we wanted to stay direct like that just because uh, Flipkey and Airbnb, Verbo, they were charging additional fees that we weren't able to pass on to our owners, that our owners didn't want to pay. They have different policies, different than ours with their cancellation. So we couldn't ever really mix it well enough. So we just said, let's stick with direct booking. So I mean, we have an average of 82% occupancy year round, which has been great. This year it is slightly lower just because we're kind of stabilizing the market right now. We've had a high last 5 years, like most of you probably have, but that's one thing that I really enjoy is the fact that, I mean, and you guys make it happen really is it's just our website. It's our website or them calling us to book through it. So we don't really have to deal with the other partners or figure out where our traffic's coming from because we know
Yeah.
it's organic search direct.
Yeah. It's so cool looking at your business and the kind of trajectory over time, because I think that is such an aspirational way to be able to do things. There is a role for the third parties, for the OTAs to drive in guests that can become repeat guests and to sort of
Right.
supplement occupancy. But watching the work that y'all have done, with our team here, I mean, the stats that I have, you're over 15,000 monthly visitors,
Hmm.
you know, 80 to 90% direct bookings. And you've
Yes.
done it through a lot of really, really great work on the SEO side and on the search side, and choosing your moments to be in front of people. So I think it's really cool that you've been able to accomplish that. Um,
Hmm.
this is kind of going off script here a little bit, some of the questions we had talked about asking today, but, you know, do you have any advice for somebody who's looking to make that big push towards direct bookings where it's a component of their business, but they're still, heavily OTA reliant and maybe trying to find the path forward to not be so reliant on the OTAs?
Right. I would trust the professionals. I mean, y'all handle our marketing and take care of our SEO search. And we were nervous to bring our marketing in-house with, who handles our website. We have been burned before, and, it took a lot of research and time to just see, is this what we needed? But in the end, it was because you all have the knowledge, you have the tools, you know what needs to be done. I am focusing on managing the properties. I don't have the time to go in to set everything that needs to be set or check everything. I can oversee it, but it's a full-time job to do the marketing. So many people just think, oh, I'll go on Facebook and put my house in it's going to rent. And it's like, Facebook is the last place. Like there's so much more that goes into this than what you see on social media, and trusting you guys to do it, and just the tools in place that we've added has just been a tremendous help. I mean, it speaks for itself. Like our bookings, our volume, our marketing reports we get each month, it's incredible. And we love it because it saves work on us when everybody can book online. And it's hard to imagine that when I started back in 2014, you couldn't even book online. You could send an inquiry, but like
Mhm.
we weren't even doing online reservations yet. So it's really evolved since I started, and that's been exciting to see.
Yeah, yeah. We've always been appreciative of y'all's willingness to take the
Mhm.
next leap that we,
Mhm.
advise to you. And, this webinar is really not about us by any
I
means,
know,
but
I
I
know,
would say,
but
that
but it
y'all have been such
helps.
a, yeah, absolutely. And y'all have been such a beacon of, if you go all in and you trust
Yes,
the professionals and you stay
yes.
true to who your business are, you can accomplish a really, really great direct booking ratio and create a lot of freedom for yourself through that. So we always love to point at y'all as a great example.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and with that in mind, what is your average booking window looking like this year? How are things changing for Fickling?
So we were between 200 to 300 days in advance getting reservations on the books, and now it's about 120. So guests have really started to kind of just wait more last minute, within 3 to 4 months, really, before their booking. And that's been hard for us because this was the first year since I started where we went into summer still having weeks in summer to book. And,
Yeah.
that urgency was there. And we were able to adjust our rates and make it happen. So we stayed full. But it was the first year that we, had that feeling where I'm like, everything's booked 100%. We're back to back each weekend. Like, what's going on? And, sure enough, just the booking window, last minute reservations, they started picking up and kicking in.
Hmm.
But it really made us kind of evaluate where we were going for the rest of the year, which helped us make adjustments that we needed to where we've overperformed the market. I mean, our occupancy is above our market by 10 to 15%. And I'm able to show our owners that, so that, when their bookings are down, they can see the whole island is down. It's not just your house, it's the whole island right now, the whole market. And I think it's like that in several places, not just here on St. George Island.
Yeah, it's a industry-wide thing, and there are some
Mhm.
people who've found a way to insulate themselves from it. I'm not sure how exactly they're going about that because the demand isn't necessarily there like it's been in the past, and ultimately, you know, the user behaviors are changing, right? And so
Right,
it's great that you guys
right.
are able to pivot, kind of putting you on the spot here. You mentioned that you made some rate adjustments to try to fill those last minute dates, but you're in summer. There's weeks that aren't necessarily booked. Did you do
Mhm.
anything maybe unique that was uh, a first time strategy maybe for Fickling and try to get those last minute bookings in, or was it a lot of kind of finger crossing and trust in the process?
It was just adjusting the rates daily. I mean, it was like if they didn't get any traction or hits with that rate reduction, we did it again. And I know there's tools for dynamic pricing that you could use. We don't use any tools for that. We just analyze our market's data and the rental rates per night. And so we just went until we found that spot, and they started booking. And I'm like, okay, here we are. And then you have the conversations with the owners like, all right, let's look at next summer because our goal is to get next summer booked before this summer's over. And,
Yep.
here we had planned for this increase, but you've seen it and I've seen it. It's not happening. And so we have to be realistic, and we want to capture what we can. And if we set the rates like this now, we're going to make more because we're not going to have to discount last minute or lower the rate to this point so it stays full. I mean, it all adds up, of course, but the maximum income you can get for each week is going to help pay off. And so we were able to do that back this summer. And I look at next June and July, and all of our beachfront homes are almost already fully booked. And so it's like, okay, good. Like that's where we're supposed to be at, because that's our trend. Our beachfront homes book first, and then slowly across the street, and the remainder of the island
Yeah,
fills in. But
yeah,
those owners, they want the houses booked, and that's guaranteed income for them, for us. And so that was our goal. And we just had to kind of pivot, because in the summer you're normally used to doing summer things and you don't have time to work on that. But it was just key that we are like, we need to look at next year, because the way this is trending, we've got to make some changes now.
yeah. I love that. I think
Mhm.
that's such a good answer to that question, because it's easy to talk about what you do in the moment, on the spot, to try to generate bookings for 2 weeks out where you feel like you have, some real
Right,
pressure on you. But to go ahead
right.
and be proactive and look at the next year and have those
Mhm.
conversations with owners. I used to be a client marketing manager, so I worked with a lot of clients kind of through similar circumstances. And I feel like one of the biggest points of feedback was always around the conversations with the owners. And we can make those rate adjustments, but it's going to cause a lot of headaches in terms of explaining it to them. So it's great that you were able to both show that you are the pro and forecast that potential issue next year, but present it as a solution and presenting it in the way that Fickling is going out of their way to position them for success, and kind of walking them through the more intricate elements of driving that occupancy in the future. All right. Well, then I would say maybe proactivity is an easy one to tack on to this answer here. But what are three things that you think Fickling does especially well versus your market, or versus the national market?
Well, we're here. So we're here locally, which is huge. It
Mhm.
sounds, strange, but we're available. You can walk in our door 7 days a week from 9 to 5. We're going to be here for the guest. We get more guests from other companies that walk in and they're like, we can't get in touch with their maintenance. We've called, no one's called us back. And,
Wow.
we're like, okay, like we're very helpful to them, but there's only so much we can do.
Yeah,
And, we'll try to tell them where their office is, and they're like, no one's there, no one's answering. That just blows my mind, because I'm like,
that's crazy.
how can you be in hospitality and not take care of something? I mean, if somebody emails us, we respond within 24 hours. It may not be the complete answer that they're looking for, but somebody acknowledges that we've gotten your email, we're working on it, and we're going to be in touch by X. So you'll know when. So just they can expect that. We text, so we answer all the texts too, and our phone
Mhm.
calls. I mean, we constantly monitor the phone calls if there's any voicemails, and just respond. So really, just by doing what you say you're going to do, by being available and offering that customer service, sets us apart so much from our competition, that it's easy, because we're doing what we love, and we want everyone to have a great experience, and we're all very helpful.
Mhm.
And I can't imagine not, because it just would make our job harder if we didn't want to help them do something, or help them, show them how to use the internet, or whatever it may be. That's one of the things that really sets us apart. I think we treat them more like friends and family, or like our family
Right.
was on vacation. If And that's what I'd always try to kind of put myself in their shoes. If there is a problem, is, Kim, if your family was on vacation, if you were on your vacation right now and this happened, how would you feel? And, people look forward to their vacations all year sometimes. And if something does go wrong, we're here to help, and just communicate with them what we can, so that even though it may have happened and they may not have something they wanted, they're not left feeling like they weren't important or they weren't taken care of.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. It's as hard as you guys work, and as hard as so many of our clients work. It's interesting, the more conversations I've had over the years of being with RealTech, how the most productive strategy on the hospitality side seems to be the simplest and most straightforward, which is just to be there for people when they need you to be.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's awesome you guys invest in that, but also having the tech solutions to communicate through the channels that they want to communicate with you, whether that be face to face
Yes.
in office or the texting or the phone.
Yes.
That's so key these days. All
Mhm.
right. Well, we talked about your occupancy for this year and kind of, how summer was a different
Mhm.
experience. Aside from maybe the user expectations and sort of their behavior shifts, are there any other challenges that are kind of on your agenda to tackle going into next year?
Well, we have a saturated market with homes. The construction
Mhm.
has not stopped. And so there is definitely more availability out there. And so what we're focused on is with the owners of
Mhm.
obviously is just making sure their home is offering what it says it needs to and
Yeah.
making sure that it's up to standard to our standards and that guests have what they're going to expect. So it may not be a brand new house, but it has quality furnishings. The mattresses are kept up to date. The house is painted as it is needed to be scheduled, painted. There's landscaping taken care of so that guests don't arrive to these houses and think, has anybody been here? Is it taken care of? I mean, you have to invest back in your property, and it's our job to let our owners know what to do and when to do it. And so we've, started early on that this year. And instead of later, we normally wait until fall. But again, it was like, okay, by next spring, we need to do this, we need to do that. And just to make sure that that reputation stays where it needs to be because that's going to set us apart from the competition, from all the smaller companies that have opened up and are doing the same thing we're doing. We want to set ourselves apart and set that standard that our homes, you'll be satisfied with our homes. We keep up with them, we take care of them. And if the owners aren't willing to do what they need to do, then unfortunately we have to give them notice because it makes our job impossible. And we don't want to ruin a guest's vacation when there's something we know about and we can't fix it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's so essential to kind of, because you set the expectation with your listings of what you're going to get when you go to a
Mhm.
house. And I mean, we just took a vacation maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago with my family. And, it was on a budget. We were kind of jamming it in where we had time. So it was something really
Right,
efficient. And it was small and it was, part of a multiplex.
right.
And it was exactly as it was described to us. We had picked
Mhm.
it based off what we thought was a priority and what wasn't. And we got there and we had all those things and we had an awesome stay.
Right,
Despite, a couple deficiencies that in a perfect world we would have had, we
right,
knew what we were getting. And that goes such a long way.
right. It does.
Okay.
And oh, I was just gonna say, and when
No.
you're on vacation, you want to make sure like your family is happy. You don't want to, so you have that added stress too. Like, I picked this. I don't want my wife to think, why did I pick this or be upset with
Yeah.
that? And so you're dealing with a lot of emotions too. And if everything can just work like it's supposed to, everybody's happy. It goes much smoother.
That is absolutely true, especially as a parent. I mean, as a husband, yeah, but as a parent, it's like there's little, small,
Yes,
seemingly insignificant amenities that have made huge impacts on our vacations.
right.
We went on one once where it said that there was a crib in the house, and there was not.
Oh
And
no.
that was, I still remember it. I'd never go
Right.
to that company again because of that.
Right, right. And the another challenge, just to go back, but the rising operating costs for our owners to do business, it's important that we show them what what they put into the house is what they're going to get back because they're going to need that return back. And we know insurance is, going up. We know maintenance costs are rising. We know all that, but it's still important to keep investing in the house so that you get that return from the guest because with more inventory, with more options, they'll just choose something else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I always like to call this out when someone's talking about that exciting thing, which is that if you're a marketing client with RealTech, there's a report we can pull that shows traffic to individual listing pages and then conversion rate. And those are always really handy when you're having those conversations with the problem owner. So if you're out there and you've had a similar experience as Kim and you want a tool for that, reach out to your marketing account manager so we can help with that. All right, Kim, well, we talked a little bit about, RealTech, which I so appreciate. So certainly no pressure to include us in this list, but I would love to hear about one really underrated tool that you use for your business that you think more people should know about, and then maybe one that you think is a little overrated, doesn't have to be one of your vendors, but maybe, one element of the tech stack that you feel is a little overrated for what Fickling is looking to accomplish.
Right. So one underrated tool that I wish, which I love, I wish I had more time to dive into it. It's on my goal, but is our digital guidebook. We use Rubaroo and we've been with them for almost 2 years, a little over, and it it has all the information that the guests need. And you can schedule it to be sent by text, by email, X amount of days before they arrive. And it has, as long as they read, it has everything that they'll need because it feeds from your PMS system. And we use Barefoot. So it literally can show the picture of the entrance where they're going to walk in. It can show a picture of the lock and you can video how you press the numbers to enter the house. I mean, you can see the parking and you can customize it to where there's nothing left unexpected because they can see everything. And we have a pretty generic version of that right now. We're working with our new listings to customize it as we go. And our goal is to just get all of them to where they are just exceptional, where there's no questions that even need to be asked because it's literally all right there for them to see. And
Wow.
the guests have loved it. We did guest check-in up until last year, even though we had digital locks. I don't like change, and I loved checking guests in and just greeting them and going over everything with each guest. And they don't want to hear that. They just drove 7 or 8 hours. They want the code, they want the Wi-Fi information, and they
Yeah.
want to go to the house. I mean, and so we switched to do that. And I mean, it was kind of sad for me because we didn't get to see as many people, but everybody converses with you the same. Like they'll send us a text, thanks so much, we love it. And the best thing about Rubaroo is you can set up this like check-in text. So the next day in the afternoon, it's just like, oh, how is everything going? Is there anything that we can
Yeah.
do to make your stay better? And it's like we could never compete with automation like on a personal level like that. And like they're able to do it, but the guest makes it feels personal to the guest. And so
Yeah.
that's really helped us a lot. And like we'll have guests that have stayed with us numerous times and year after year, and they'll still stop in. They're like, we know we got our text, we just want to say hi. So I don't feel as bad that we switched to it, but the majority prefer to just go to the house and, send us a message that everything's great. But that's one underrated tool that, I think everybody should have some sort of digital guest guidebook that they can send out to guests ahead of time, just to let them know what to expect. And I mean, what type of coffee maker, just things like that, that they're going to ask about, the type of TV, especially nowadays with cable kind of being obsolete and everybody's streaming or doesn't have a streaming service. There's so much information there that people want to know. And that's the easiest way to get it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of going back to what you're talking about with making that switch over to having texting and having email and
Mm-hmm.
meeting them where they want to be. I really liked what you said about, you can't compete with the efficiency of automation, but doing it through a tool like that allows you to be really personal with it, but
Right.
be where they need you to be when they need you to be.
Right. And it helps you as a professional too, just because not only do the guests interact, this is kind of going off your question, but
No, that's
for those
fine.
of you out there, it may be where you're used to dealing with vendors on your cell phone or, you know, and now you can transfer everybody to the Rubaru number that you get. And now the whole office can see what's going on. So if there is an air conditioning out or if there's a plumbing issue, I just, shoot them a text. And that way everybody in our office can see it. So if I'm off the next day, they can come in and they can like, oh, he's going here. The guest said okay. And it's just 100% transparent for everybody to see what's going on, where I'm not getting a call while I'm at the doctor that's like, hey, can we go in and fix the leak? I mean, it's an easier way to operate the business where everything is in one place and you're not having to delegate all those phone calls. I know some companies have policies against personal cell phone use, but in today's world, it's hard to get away from your cell phone and using it for work. And this tool really allows you to be able to be off when you're not at work, at least for the majority of the staff. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge Ruber fan, RealTech, huge Ruber fans.
mhm.
We love NARS, we love that product. But honestly,
Yes.
that's an aspect that I hadn't even considered is how that can streamline kind of your vendor systems and keep everybody in the loop. So I
Yep.
really appreciate you
And
calling that out for everybody.
and housekeeping too. I mean, you
Yeah,
you know, you coordinate with your housekeepers through it, and that way everybody in the office can see the same thing everybody texted them. So it's not like, oh, I sent her a text to see if she could clean. It's all tracked right there through the office. So it's a great tool if you're not using it. I'm happy to share information about how we got started because I'm very hesitant to try new things and I have to see that they work before we spend the money and move forward
yeah.
with it. And that's one that I wish we had done sooner. So
Yeah, absolutely. And a quick call out to everybody on, we can share Kim's information at the end. We spoke a little bit before. You said you were comfortable with people reaching out to you if they did want to have
yes.
those conversations. So we'll make sure that her email is in the chat if anyone wants that. Um, I do want to circle back and see if you have any overrated tools. It's okay if not. We're not looking to put you on the spot, but I think it's always helpful, if someone's had
Right.
experience.
Um, really, I'm kind of over Facebook and social media. I mean, I get a lot of calls sometimes like my home is not being featured and you're not featuring my home. And it's not me personally, but I try to tell them that it's the best thing you can do is feature your own home. So where you live, where you work, you probably have Facebook groups for the areas, and St. George Island is really big on the Facebook groups, and they've actually limited how businesses can even post. We're limited to one post a day, one day a week, and maybe 2 days a week. So on that day, if you do post, you're just covered up with other advertising posts, but owners can post at any time. So I'm constantly saying, I know they see their house on Facebook and they think that that's helping, but it's really just your presence of being out there and conversing with people. It may lead to a lead later down the road, but that ultimately is not the reason why your house isn't booking or getting bookings. But I'm like, the best thing you can do is share because guests do like that interaction with the owner. And,
Yeah,
like then they feel that connection with them just like they feel more of a connection with Kim Cook. If Kim Cook is messaging with them on Facebook, then Fickling Vacation Rentals. So it's kind of that same concept, but the rules people put in place kind of, I mean, I can't post about somebody's particular house. Fickling has to be general post.
right.
I can't just say, oh, rent this house. So that to me, like I'm really done with Facebook. It could go away and I wouldn't be sad, especially the group pages.
I love this because it's a little bit of a hot take, but obviously with how successful Fickling has been, you've got a good barometer on if it actually is having an impact for you. And I think
Hmm.
the best takeaway from me every time I ask this question to somebody, because we get all kinds of different answers, but the best takeaway to me is that if you find something that's working for your business, use it. And if it's not working for your business and it's making your life harder, don't feel like you have to do things because other people do them. do what works for
Right,
you.
right. And that's
Yeah.
I've had that conversation with owners too, because they're like, well, this business is on Facebook posting all day. And I'm like, there's something wrong with that. Like, you don't want me on Facebook all day. Like, I promise. Then I'm not doing other things. So,
Yeah.
because I mean, we have RealTech that handles our ads and that, like, but answering questions all day, like, is a full-time responsibility, and it's not something just for me. It would be a designated team member if it is. So,
Right. Absolutely. Well, I think that's a pretty good answer. All right. I've got a couple more for you here. I do like to not put too much shine on RealTech in these conversations, but because it is a client-facing webinar, I always like to ask, how do you get the most out of working with RealTech? One of our big value propositions is that we're here. We try to be consultative and helpful and really be in the corner of our managers. How do you go about making sure that you get your money's worth, so to speak?
right. I just stay involved. I mean, I reach out to our marketing manager, and when I have any questions or if something doesn't make sense, I mean, we probably talk or email at least once, twice, three times a month. And so I think just by keeping that connection and letting them know when you don't understand something and when you are struggling or you're nervous, like I tell her, I say, I am nervous. We still have weeks of summer left, or like, this is what I want to work on. Like, I want fall booked, and not being afraid to voice those concerns. And even if you notice traffic is decreasing, just staying involved with you all so that you're real people. We're real people. This is a real job. Everything's not okay all the time, and we're not always booking, and we need to find out what is working that we're doing, and just really being available is huge. I mean, if there's a glitch on our website, I can email support and get an answer. I mean, almost immediately you get a response, but then then you get an answer, and it's like, oh, like, I was just, curious, thank you. And it's
Right.
just incredible how the support team handles everything and how quickly. And then, you guys do great to offer new functionality, to just be able to do more. Like, we were having trouble booking a certain price point home, and we created a tool where if the guests visit the page and it's X amount of dollars, and you can set those parameters, and they don't book, they're emailed come back and book special VIP code that takes a coupon off, and it gives them a
Yeah.
discount. And so we're really able to track that. Okay, that's what it takes. And just by offering those tools and letting us know what you have that can help, it lets us see. And for those of you that are concerned about cost, every month you get the report where you can see, this is how much we spent, this is how much return it gave us. And I mean, it more than pays for itself with the booking recovery tool, the sending about the stay, the and now we're even doing the AI chat that is just started. We're in a week into it, but it allows guests to ask questions on the website. So I
Yep.
think the main thing for us that we get out of RealTech is just communicating with you guys. I mean, you're our partner, and we can't be successful without each other. And giving you the opportunity to share with us the new tools you have, and just coming to you. I mean, we came to you guys a couple of years ago, and we're like, we want to redesign. Like, our website just seems like blah, like we're over it. And so
Mhm.
then we met, and we're like, okay, this is what we can do. And we did a refresh of everything. And so it's really just staying involved with the partners that you partner with, and to meet that end goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you summarized what I would encourage people to do as well as anybody could, which is,
Mhm.
we're here. You pay us to be there for you. If you have concerns, if you have questions, please make them known to us so we can help. We're going to do it quickly and we're going to do it with your success in mind. I also want to
Right.
call out two clarifying things. When you were talking about the dynamic and the parameters of those booking coupons, if they don't book, she's
Mhm.
talking about the booking recovery service. So anybody who is interested in that but isn't using it, feel free to reach out to me and give you some information about it. And then you mentioned the AI chat, which we haven't actually announced to our full client base yet. You're one of our beta users on that, but we
Okay.
are ready to start putting it on sites. We'll be doing some client email about that upcoming. So if you have questions about that, we'll get it, but also don't hesitate to reach out to me now and we could go ahead and get on you sooner than later.
Right.
All right.
And you can visit our website and try it out too. If you're on one of our property pages, it automatically pops up and just, it has 3 questions plugged in there, and you could change them based on your market. If, you're in a ski market, you could change it to hot tub being the first or
Yep.
whatever it may be. But that was one of the things I liked, and I played around with it first before we thought about adding it to our website. So it's been helpful, and it's cut down on calls in just a week. So I'm interested to see how it plays out long term.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate that
Mhm.
endorsement. If this whole property management thing doesn't work out for you, please call me. We'll put you in sales.
Okay, good.
Seems like that won't be happening though. You seem to
I
do a pretty
know.
excellent job.
I used to have a backup plan just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we might not be top of your list, but put us on there. We're here if you need us. Okay, as we are kind of wrapping up on time, I do want to leave a little bit of time for Q&A if there is any. And I also want to be respectful of your time and let you go here soon. But I would love to ask, what is something that you're seeing other property management companies do that you want to learn more about? Like we said, not everything's a good fit for everybody, and do it fits for you.
Right.
You're kind of aspiring to maybe add.
Right. So we have stood firm on not doing any kind of beach gear credit, and all of our competitors work with companies that offer beach gear. And I've always kind of held off because we're a small market, we're a small area, and we have so many local companies that offer the same beach gear. And I feel like it'll really hurt their business too. And so I've kind of just, you know, our owners weren't on board when it first started, and I've never revisited it. So I'm interested if, you were on the fence about it, or if you knew somebody that was, and then they decided to sign up for it, because I really feel like that guest experience as a guest, they enjoy it. And it's kind of what this is about, because I know I booked a vacation in Hilton Head, and it came with beach gear. And so we got bikes and, beach chairs, and it was really nice that it came with it and we didn't have to bring our own. But I was thinking of like the whole backside of it. I'm like, but what do the owners pay? And what is this? What do the guests pay? And just, I had more questions about it, but I'm not ready to talk to them yet because I've put them off for so many years that I think they've probably written me off. But I just kind of interested if anybody's like, you need to do it, or if it's like, no, it's not worth it. Because you don't want more headaches. And I think that's what I'm always afraid of, is now they're on a bike and it breaks, and the first place they call is us. And, what am I going to do? Go get the bike? I'm too detail oriented to kind of make sudden changes like that. But I'm interested in seeing if that is worth it. And I feel like since the competition is all doing it, it's kind of a no-brainer that we're going to need to, or we're going to have to do something just that sets us apart, because everybody calls and they're like, where's our beach gear coupon? We don't offer beach
Yeah.
gear.
Well, I'm looking at our participants list who are on here with us right now, and I see a lot of smart folks out there in beach markets. So if any of you don't mind that are doing something like this, please reach out to Kim. It'd be a great way to give her a thank you
Yeah.
for being on today.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's the questions I had for you. If anybody's got any questions, let's take a look at our Q&A and make sure we don't. And if we do, we'll kind of jump into those. All right. Looks like we don't have any questions that have come in. Anybody want to add any last minute ones while we've got Kim on? All right, well then we can go ahead and wrap up. Checking the chat here, Kim's information is in there. I'm gonna put mine in there as well, just in case you have any questions for me about anything from today. And then we will let you go. I really appreciate everyone being here, especially you, Kim. Thanks again so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing
Thank
time
you
with us.
everyone for joining. I appreciate it too.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye.